Order. At this time, we'll have a roll call.
Director Harris?
Here.
Director Hollibush?
Here.
Director Brewer?
Here.
Director Jewell?
Here.
Assistant Mayor Hart?
Here.
Director Roberts?
Here.
Mayor Brown?
Here. At this time, a couple of housekeeping things. If you have your cell phone with you, we'd appreciate if you would silence those. If you wish to address the board tonight, there are citizens' communication cards on the ledge. If you would fill one of those out and get it to our city clerk, that would be beneficial for us to have a written record, and she can pass that on to me. At this time, we'll stand for our invocation. It will be given by Ward 1 Director Terry Roberts. Our Pledge of Allegiance tonight will be given by our TW Assistant Executive Director Kenny Eisenhower.
Let us pray. Our Heavenly Father, thank you for the gift of life and the opportunity to serve the people of our city. Help us to act with character and conviction. Help us to listen with understanding and goodwill. Remind us that we are stewards of your authority, and help us see the humanity and dignity of those who disagree with us, and treat all people as you would have us to do. Father, renew us with the strength that your creation deserves. We ask that you would help us continue to build a community worthy of your name. We ask that your son and daughters, dear Lord, that we're confident in your goodness and love. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. There will be one addition to the agenda tonight. At the end of our meeting tonight, we will be having an executive session to discuss our progress with our hiring of a new city manager. Having said that, we'll move right on into our citizens' communication time. Is there anyone here that wishes to address the board during citizens' communication time? Anyone present tonight wish to address the board? Any board member? Seeing and hearing none, we'll move into our presentations. Tonight we have a proclamation declaring August 19th as Judy Priest Day. That will be presented by our Assistant Mayor Jeff Hart.
So I'm very honored to read this because I've known Judy for a while, and she's a great lady. So I'm going to read the proclamation, and Judy, if you'll come up, we'll take a picture and we'll present it, but I'll read it first. Whereas service to others is a hallmark of the American character and central to how we meet challenges, and whereas in tough economic times our city must increasingly turn to service and volunteerism as a cost-effective strategy to meet city needs, whereas service expands economic opportunity by creating more sustainable, resilient communities and represents a unique public-private partnership that invests in community solutions and leverages resources to strengthen community impact. Whereas citizens who choose to serve our city demonstrate dedication and patriotism by making an intensive commitment to service. Whereas Jeff Hart, Assistant Mayor, Ward 6, has requested the city recognize this commitment to Judy Priest, who daily volunteers her time and energy to help make Ward 6 a more pleasant place to live. Whereas Ms. Priest's commitment to improvements in Ward 6 exemplifies the true spirit of good citizenship and serves as an excellent example to others. Now, therefore, it be resolved that I, Alan Brown, Mayor of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas, do hereby proclaim August 19th, 2024 as Judy Priest Day in our city and encourage other citizens to recognize the positive impact of service in our city to find ways to give back to our community.
Now, you know I'm going to have to say something. If you Miss Judy, I haven't had Jeff has known her a lot longer than I have. I've known her for about 8 years, but she is a fantastic lady. She doesn't just pick up trash and keep Ward 6 clean. She goes anywhere there is trash. I mean, she works hard, and you are a blessing for both sides of the community.
Yeah.
I'm proud to call you friend, and we're here for you if we can ever help you. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy. Moving on into our consent agenda tonight, we have two items on our consent agenda. Number 2, approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of August the 5th. Item number 3 is to adopt a resolution authorizing the purchase of a 2025 Ford Explorer Police Interceptor to replace a damaged vehicle. What would be the desire of the board?
Motion to adopt. Second.
So we have a motion and a second to approve of the consent agenda. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The consent agenda passes. We're going to move into our regular agenda tonight, where we have 3 items on our regular agenda. The first item, number 4, is to adopt a resolution conditionally authorizing the City of Texarkana, Arkansas Public Facilities Board to proceed with the issuance of approximately $24 million of waterworks and sewer facilities revenue bonds. Kenny and our Rose Law Firm counsel, Mr. Jim Fowler.
Good evening, Board and Mr. Mayor. Hope you all doing well today. This will be TWU's second bond issuance to take care of some construction projects that's badly needed in the community. Some of the ones that's on the list with this bond issuance is the AMI automatic metering infrastructure, looping dead-end mains, to upgrade some 24-inch water mains along Loop 245, replace a section of 36-inch water main on North State Line, extend water and sewer to the Ready site, North Texarkana wastewater treatment plant upgrade, State Line Corridor, Nix Creek Part 2, a new tank at Lakewood, and to upgrade the Millwood water treatment plant to a 20 MGD plant. And we feel like these are some good projects, and we can't wait to get started on them. Mr. Fowler?
Thank you, Kenny. Mr. Mayor, Board, good to be with you again. You have before you a resolution authorizing the Public Facilities Board to go forward with this bond issue to fund those projects. This resolution looks like the 7 other ones we've done with TWU through the Public Facilities Board. The Facilities Board has to have your approval for selection of professionals, which they passed a resolution which is almost identical to this one last week, and are requesting that you authorize this resolution. So with that, I'll entertain any questions you have.
I just got a general question. The upgrades to Millwood, what type of upgrades are we talking about? That's $5 million, almost a $6 million project. What type of upgrades?
Let's talk about trying to do what, we got a list of stuff from the Arkansas Department of Health that would be required to be able to move it up to a 20 MGD plant. It covers adding a main pump and a lot of piping inside, redoing some piping, and it's just redoing some of the internal works to where it can actually produce that amount of water.
What is it producing now, or its capacity to produce? It upgraded to 20, so I assume it's not capable of doing 20 now. Is it doing 10?
It is doing, Tricia, do you remember what amount, what it's producing now?
15.
Yeah, I think it's 15, I believe. It's up at 5. It would greatly increase the productivity.
Hey,
I do.
Kenny, on the AMS, is that going to replace all the meters with smart meters
Yes.
for all of the houses in Texarkana,
Yeah,
Arkansas?
yes, and you'll see some of that in the presentation to follow, but it replaces most of the meters. Some of the newer meters that are like brand new, we're going to put the technical part that'll give it the cellular part that it just adds on to the existing meter where it can send it back and join the AMI system.
So this is going to give the citizens real time, being able to check their water usage in real time, not having to wait for a bill to come out. They can check their usage on a daily basis.
Yes, sir.
And it'll identify if there's any leaks
Yes, sir.
at their house and those good things, and they can do all that remotely from a phone or.
It'll be, they put it up on the computer, log it into our system, and Harry will talk about that in a little bit too, the same login as they do now to get into, and they can check what their usage is. It won't necessarily take the leaks on their line. We put leak detection for our lines where it tells us we have any leaks, but it'll let them be able to monitor their usage. Where if their usage goes up a lot, they'll know something's wrong.
What's the timeline in replacing all those meters on
Once
doing this?
Once we get started, the Texas and Arkansas side together, we're hoping for about 18 months.
So who's the vendor?
Johnson Controls.
There he is. Okay. All right. Good. Might have some questions for him. I used to work in the company, Utegration, that did smart metering, so I know a little thing about it. But thank you.
Yes, sir.
First of all, thank you for all you do.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate
Been
it.
doing it a long time.
Yes,
Kenny,
sir.
Can you have a question? There with the Ready site, it's mentioned about 2 million. Is that the final cost? Is that, or is there another cost?
I think there may have been, and I meant to check it before I left the office, and I didn't. But I think there may have been some money in the first issuance that, to go with this too. That is
It was
not.
$1
the-
million.
Sir?
It was $1
It was $1
million.
million? That is not, that will not be the total cost. The total cost is probably closer to around 6.5 million.
Okay, that's what I thought. I know about 3 years ago, we were still in those, playing with those numbers. And I thought maybe
Yes,
this
sir.
number right here was pretty low.
Yeah, and of course, that's what the last time we did the estimate was this year, so it may be a little higher now, maybe a little lower now, but that's what our estimate was back then.
Terry?
Kenny, the tank that we're replacing in Lakewood,
Yes, sir.
I looked and I was going through my notes from last year and I couldn't find exactly, what is it going, what do we have now gallon wise? Is it 500,000? Are we upgrading? Do you know what's out there now?
I am sorry, I do not know the capacity of the standpipe that's now, but I think we're going back with an overhead tank instead of standpipe.
Okay. What is a rough time frame on that from start to finish?
I don't think we have a time right now. I don't think it's this year, but I think we're looking at doing it in '25.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
When will we issue the bonds? How quick does that happen, Jim?
Not quick. Jason Holzclaw with Stevens is here. He can tell you a little bit about the timetable, but when the bonds are priced, we'll come back to the board for a final ordinance that approves the Facilities Board final bond resolution. It'll have all the terms and conditions of the bond issue at that time. Jason may correct me, but I think we're looking towards the end of the year for a closing on this.
Right, Jason, probably end of the year. Okay. Any other questions?
I have.
Yes, okay.
What's the difference between what's going on now with the sewage line going down Cow Street and 67 going up on the railroad track and going down part of Seaver Street versus Nick Creek Sewage Improvement Phase 1 and Phase 2?
I think Phase 1 is what we're in right now, and it goes up to about 18th Street, I believe, and down to about 7th. I think Phase 2 takes care of it from there further south to get to the main, trunk main that goes to the treatment plant.
Oh, 70,
Yeah.
down there off the South State line?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Any other questions? No other questions, I'll instruct the city attorney to read the resolution.
A resolution conditionally authorizing the City of Texarkana, Arkansas Public Facilities Board to proceed with the issuance of approximately $24 million of waterworks and sewer facilities revenue bonds and prescribing matters relating thereto. Whereas pursuant to the Constitution and laws of the State of Arkansas, including particularly Amendment 65 and the Public Facilities Board Act of 1975, as amended, codified as Arkansas Code annotated sections 137-101 et sec, and the City of Texarkana, Arkansas Code of Ordinances, the City of Texarkana, Arkansas Public Facilities Board is authorized in furtherance of the public purposes described in the act to finance various capital improvements of a public nature, including waterworks and sewer facilities, through the issuance of its revenue bonds under the act for such purposes. And whereas the Facilities Board has been requested by the Texarkana Water Utilities to issue approximately $24 million in principal amount of its waterworks and sewer facilities revenue bonds, together with such series designation as may be appropriate at the time of issuance, the bonds. And whereas it has been determined that the proceeds of the bonds will be used to fund additional capital improvements to the city's water and sewer system, which will benefit the city and its residents in furtherance of the public purposes of the Act and the City of Texarkana, Arkansas Code of Ordinances, creating the Facilities Board, and in order to provide funds therefore, the Facilities Board desires to proceed with the issuance of the bonds. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Directors of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas as follows. Section 1, Findings. The Board of Directors of the city hereby finds and determines that the issuance of the bonds will benefit the city and its residents in furtherance of the public purposes of the Act and the City of Texarkana, Arkansas Code of Ordinances, creating the Facilities Board. Section 2, conditional authorization of issuance of bonds. Subject to subsequent review of the actual terms and provisions of the bonds and related documents and subsequent approval of the issuance of the bonds by resolution of the Board of Directors of the city pursuant to Section 1 of Ordinance K-150, adopted by the city on June 17, 1985, the city hereby authorizes the Facilities Board to proceed with the issuance of the bonds in the principal amount of approximately $24 million. Section 3, approval of underwriter. Pursuant to Section 5A of Ordinance Number K-9, adopted by the city on March 5, 1982, the city hereby approves the selection by the Facilities Board of Stevens Incorporated, Little Rock, Arkansas, to act as underwriter in connection with the issuance of the bonds, the discount, fees, commissions, and expenses of such underwriter to be paid from the proceeds of the sale of the bonds as cost of issuance. Section 4, approval of bond counsel. Pursuant to Section 5B of Ordinance Number K-9, the city hereby approves the selection by the Facilities Board of Rose Law Firm, a professional association, to act as bond counsel in connection with the issuance of the bonds, the fees and expenses of such counsel to be paid from the proceeds of the sale of the bonds as cost of issuance. Section 5, conflicts. All resolutions and parts of resolutions in conflict herewith are hereby repealed to the extent of such conflict. Passed and approved this 19th day of August, 2024.
The city attorney's read the resolution. What would be the desire of the board?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt. Could you call the roll, please?
Harris,
Yes.
Hollebush,
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Jewell,
Yes.
Hart,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Brown.
Yes, and the resolution passes. Moving on to item number 5 is to adopt a resolution authorizing the acting city manager to enter into a contract with Johnson Controls to install the advanced metering infrastructure system with a leak detection monitoring system in combination with the satellite-based leak detection. Kenny?
The AMI system, or installation of the AMI system is something that we're very excited about. Not only do we see a benefit to TWU from having this system in place, but we see a great benefit to the city and also to the citizens themselves. As we discussed in some of his comments there, we think the citizens will be happy with it, and we really look forward to doing it. And I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Harry Romine and Craig Hanna with Johnson Controls for a presentation and information.
Thank you, Kenny. Well, good evening, Mayor and Board. My name is Harry Romine. I'm account manager with Johnson Controls. Really appreciate the opportunity tonight to present a summary of the AMI and water meter project. With me is Mr. Craig Hanna. Craig is our AMI and water meter engineer and guru. Me and Craig have been designing and implementing these AMI water meter projects with Johnson Controls over 20 years, but if you do have any technical questions, I'm definitely going to turn it over to Craig. So, thank you. Am I doing this right?
On the side.
The arrow doesn't work.
Okay, I'll do it for you.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry about that.
Oh, you're fine.
So this is the agenda for tonight's presentation. You can go to the next slide. Just a little background on the project. TWU did issue an RFQ in February of 2023. In May of 2023, fortunately, they selected Johnson Controls as the most qualified contractor for the project. And so what we did in end of May 23, we started what we call our investment grade audit. And so we've been working very hard with TWU and the city since then, putting together, the most cost-effective solution for TWU in both cities. So that's kind of where we're at today. We've completed the audit. Next slide, please. This is just an inventory of your current water accounts, which totals a little over 13,000 accounts. Next, please. So during the audit, we did test the accuracy of a lot of your 2-inch and smaller water meters. And so this table gives you a a summary of the average accuracy by meter size. Now, some of them tested lower, some of them tested higher, but this was the average. And I do want to point out that the new ultrasonic meters that we'll be installing in this project, those are guaranteed to be 99.9% accurate for the next 20 years. So you'll be able to maintain your water and sewer revenues moving forward. You know, they're not going to lose their accuracy over time, kind of like the existing ones do.
So that's our end state, that, as far as the advancement, is the new ultrasonic metering system. That's what you're saying? That's the end state here?
Yes, sir. I mean, there's two parts. You have the advanced metering infrastructure,
Okay.
which I'll go into here a little bit, but then we're also replacing most of your meters with these new ultrasonic smart meters.
All right.
So you got two pieces that kind of go together. Next slide. So we also tested most of your large water meters. These are your big customers. So that's just a summary of the average accuracy by meter size. Next slide.
Yeah, let me interrupt. Are those,
Sure.
are the new meters, the large ones, are they going to be accurate with the 99.9% accuracy too?
Yes, sir, those are also ultrasonic. And one thing, if I may, Mr. Jewell, the manufacturer of your large meters that you have been using for many years, they are obsoleting that product line at the end of this calendar year. So even if we could repair those meters and restore their accuracy, you're not going to be able to get parts in the future. So that's another reason for us to
Well,
replace those meters.
The accuracy of 80-something%, that's a terrible accuracy rate, right?
There is room for improvement.
Can't wait till that gets out in the paper tomorrow.
So this is a graphic of the advanced metering infrastructure, or AMI. I'm not going to take up time to explain how all this works, which I probably couldn't anyway, but I did want to point out that we had several technology workshops with the TW staff. We presented 8 or 9 of the best AMI systems on the market today, and we all unanimously agreed that this Itron Cellular provided the best price with the best features. So we agreed to that, and the other thing that we were able to do is negotiate. You are going to be using existing cell towers for the communication, which also reduced the project cost by utilizing existing infrastructure. But we did negotiate a 10-year cellular plan for the entire AMI system. That is included in this contract price as well. Next slide. This is just some photos of some of the hardware that we'll be installing. The top row are the new ultrasonic water meters. Kind of the same process. We presented, 7 or 8 different of the best ultrasonic meters out there, and we unanimously again agreed to go with the deal and the Neptune because of their price, their extended warranty, and their features. And the bottom photos are just some of the AMI hardware. Next slide. So I'm going to kind of, jump to the actual meter locations themselves. So for most locations, we will be replacing the existing meter with a new ultrasonic meter and installing the AMI endpoint. That totals almost 12,000 accounts. Kind of as Kenny said, you do have some meters that are still pretty new and they're accurate, so we didn't want to waste money and that investment you made, so we're going to let them get some more life out of them, and we're just going to upgrade them to the AMI. The customers, they won't know the difference. It's the same thing, it's just we're upgrading it, so total accounts is a little over 13,000, which is all your active accounts. Next slide. You're getting the best extended warranties on the marketplace today. There's nothing, nobody offers anything better. Deal, Neptune, Itron, which is kind of one of the reasons we picked them again. Yes, sir.
What cost would that be to the customers?
For the extended warranty,
No, for the new equipment.
No, we're paying for it through the bond.
All right.
the two cities are paying for it, and then you'll want to look at your rate fees, your fees for new customers that are getting new meters, and you'll want to update those to match the price of, because these are a little more expensive, but you're getting the accuracy for 20 years. It pays for itself very quickly, just in the water and sewer revenues. Next slide. So, all you're aware that, typically a water leak goes unnoticed for a long period of time, and it costs the city a lot of money. So this project does include actually 2 leak detection systems. The first one is a satellite radar survey of the entire distribution system, and then we come back in with a ground crew to really pinpoint the location of those leaks. Next slide. So the second leak detection system is more of an ongoing system. We will be installing a lot of these Itron leak sensors on the service lines, and these will be tied into the AMI system, so they'll be providing automatic alerts when it's sensing a leak to the TW staff. And we, one of my projects, which was with Las Cruces Utilities, we completed about 5 years ago. They have about 40,000 customers, but we included these Itron leak sensors on that project with the AMI, and they love it. It's caught a lot of leaks and saved them a lot of money, so we know it can work. And the benefit of adding these to this project now is the same contractor that we're going to be changing out the meter, and at that meter box, same contractor will install this leak sensor at the same time, which is much more cost effective for the city versus 3 years down the road hiring a contractor to go back to each of these locations and install this sensor. So now's a good time to do it. Next slide. The other thing included in the project, it was discussed a little bit, Kenny did, you are going to get a customer web portal. All your customers, this will be a big benefit to them for the ones that want to sign up for it, but it will provide them an automatic email alert once they kind of set up, when they want to be alerted, and then also, they can go look at their history over the past week, the past 2 weeks. It's real time, and the other thing is that TW staff, they'll have access to this web portal too, but theirs is a user web portal, which will have a lot more features than what your customers will see. But I guess the point is, if you have a customer that doesn't want to sign up for it, the TW staff, through this new AMI, they're going to be alerting your customers if they have a potential leak, because they're going to be monitoring it through this system as well. So customers kind of protected 2 ways. No, that's good. You can move. I was going to say also that it is going to be a single sign-on, that web portal, so your customers aren't going to have 2 passwords and usernames to pay their bill and get to the web portal. It'll be the same username and password. So you can go to the next slide. Thank you. This is just a screenshot of, I believe it's a week's time, if they want to see their peaks and valleys over the last week. They'll be they'll pull that up real quick. Next slide. One of the other benefits that you're going to get from our team is we will be assisting TW and the cities with a customized customer outreach plan. So like there on the left, that's a door hanger that if you decide you want to use that, that'll be put on the customer's door several days before we're going to change out the meter, notifying them that what day we're going to be there. But basically, we're going to sit down with TW staff after construction kicks off, and together we're going to build this customer outreach plan that works best for TW and the city. Next slide. So now I'll move to some of the more important stuff, the revenues and savings. During the audit, we did calculate the benefits of installing these new, more accurate meters in the AMI. And the good news is your water and sewer revenues are going to increase almost $200,000 a year from this project. Next slide. The other good news is that there is going to be operating cost savings from this project as well, to the tune of a little under $200,000 a year in operating cost savings. Next slide. So the overall financials, the total cost of the project is about $8 million. Your annual benefits is a little under $400,000. That's taken the increased revenues and the operating cost savings, added them together with the simple payback of a little over 20 years. Next slide. So this is the last slide, I promise. This is just a summary of the benefits. I kind of covered most of these already. But it's basically, you are partnering with a Johnson Controls team we've developed and installed over 130 of these AMI meter projects. And we do have to actually also guarantee the performance of the AMI, and the project benefits. So one other thing is we have worked with a lot of utilities across the country, and I'm being honest, Texarkana Water Utilities is one of the best utilities that we've worked with. I mean, anything we needed, they got it to us very quickly. And that's really the way these projects are successful, is a true, partnership. So with that, we'll open it up to questions that you might have. Thank you.
Question. On the cost savings, does that include man hours that we're spending checking meters?
No, sir. It's just the op savings is material only, not having to go buy, keep buying these meters you've been buying to replace. There's no labor or personnel involved in those savings.
Gotcha.
And then-
Kenny, do you know what it would be, cost savings, with all the guys we've got out checking meters now?
We don't plan on reducing any employees. We will just repurpose them and put them somewhere else.
The replacement of the meters, that's interrupted service, so that individual customer is not going to have water during that time. Usually, what's the turnaround time in replacing those?
Under normal conditions, about 20 minutes.
No.
You spoke of a guarantee. What's the warranty that we said was
20.
20 years?
Are there any software upgrades? How is this going to integrate with the TW system currently?
Yeah, I'll take the first shot at it. So you are buying, as part of this, the Itron. They have a cloud. I'll probably let Craig chip in, but you're using a cloud, so it's really separate from your IT system, and that's where all of this data is going to be, and then it gets automatically integrated into your existing billing system. So there is an annual, we're paying that fee through construction, but then we've provided those fees to Kenny, what they will be. You'll be paying that directly to Itron to have this software, and it'll be updated every year. But you have to buy it because it's their cloud, and that's where all the data is. But yes, there is some annual software fees from Itron.
So do we know what that is, Kenny?
Yeah, I mean, it's close to a little under $100,000 a year for, now I think that was for Texas and Arkansas, I'm pretty sure. So probably 50 or so for the Arkansas
So do
side.
they handle all the security of it? That includes the upgrades?
Yes, sir.
That's not, so everything's included.
And
in that.
there's telephone support in case the staff forgets something and they want some, but it does include any upgrades that come out, because it keep it all updated. Yes, sir.
Well, you were talking about a good to work with. That's direct leadership from Gary. He's probably the best water utilities director we've ever had. And I know this probably makes Trish happy back there, because this should make her job easier, and if anybody needs it, she does. But thank you guys for a good presentation.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I have one question for Kenny. It was related to item number 4, just to make sure that I know that I'm tracking.
Okay.
The state line corridor, that passage, where is that passage exactly?
The state line corridor,
Yeah, that
That,
passage.
RDOT, the Arkansas Highway Department, is looking at widening state line, and we're going to have to move some water lines
probably on both sides, and may have to move all of them. We haven't got good cross-sections and plans from them yet, but there's
Okay.
going to be just some relocations all up and down state line when Arkansas gets ready to do that.
Well, thanks, because I know we got some plans in the works for 2025.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Any other questions? If not, we would instruct the city attorney to read the resolution.
Whereas the Texarkana Water Utilities has identified the need for an advanced metering infrastructure system with leak detection monitoring system in combination with satellite-based leak detection to improve efficiency and reduce water loss. And whereas this advanced metering infrastructure system will include replacing all meters over 5 years old with new ultrasonics water meters with infrastructure to automatically read water meters and a customer portal that will allow customers to monitor their water usage daily. Whereas TWU advertised a request for qualifications for a guaranteed energy savings performance contract from entities interested in providing advanced metering infrastructure and energy conservation evaluation of utility assets, and 3 firms submitted their qualifications. And whereas all 3 firms were interviewed and Johnson Controls Incorporated of Fort Worth, Texas, has been selected through a competitive process to install the advanced metering infrastructure system. And whereas the total cost of this project is $18,169,793, with the Arkansas portion of the project not to exceed $7,938,168. Now therefore be it resolved by the City of Texarkana, Arkansas, that the acting city manager is hereby authorized to enter into a contract with Johnson Controls Incorporated to install an advanced metering infrastructure system with leak detection monitoring system in combination with satellite-based leak detection in an amount not to exceed $7,938,168. Pass and approve this 19th day of August, 2024.
City attorney's read the resolution. What will be the desire of the board?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
So I have a motion and a second to adopt. Could you call the roll?
Harris,
Yes.
Hollibush,
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Jewell,
Yes.
Hart,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Brown.
Yes, resolution passes. Moving on to our last item on the agenda tonight, is adopt a resolution authorizing the acting city manager to enter into a lease agreement with the Texarkana Regional Airport to apply for a loan from the Arkansas Energy Office for solar-covered parking. Paul?
Good evening. The lease agreement was modified with the requested changes by the city manager and city attorney. The lease was then taken to the Texas side and was approved last Monday. If it is approved this evening, I will take that modified lease back to my board this week for reapproval.
Does anybody have any questions, or Danny?
That does take out the 3% increase in salary, correct?
That is
That's under the
the budget.
This is just the lease agreement.
Okay, I'm with you.
Well, I still have the issue on the insurance. There's no requirement in there that we be listed as other insured or co-insured. And then on section or paragraph or whatever, 18, it starts off insurance coverage at all times during the term. Leaseor and leasee shall have the coverage.
Trying to find it.
Well, let's start at 14.
It's my understanding that the leasee would be us, and that we're covered as the leasee, and the leaseor would be the city of Texarkana, Texas, and they are listed as an additional insured because we are listed as the leasee. So
Yes,
we're automatically covered.
The airport will be getting the insurance, and both cities will be listed as additionally insured.
Well, the contract, the leaseor is the city of Texarkana, Arkansas. The leasee is the airport authority.
Right, you will be owning the system and leasing it back to the airport.
Yes, but here, section 14, it says that the city of Texarkana, Texas, listed as, I don't have my glasses, as a as a beneficiary. Well, that's life insurance or something like that. But my intent was to have the leaseor, which is Texarkana, Arkansas, and possibly Texarkana, Texas, to be listed as a other insurer.
Yes, sir.
Which gives us certain rights. Our representatives, as a city, our cities, our representatives could call the insurance company and inquire about the insurance.
Yes, sir.
Can't make changes, but we could inquire as to the status of any claims or anything like that. We wouldn't have to go through the airport board or anything like that. We could initiate any questions we had on our own.
Yes, sir.
Okay. That wasn't done. Okay.
Both cities will be named as additionally insured on the
They will?
insurance. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, but skipping to 18, it still has that says that we, the leaseor, which is, again, the city of Texarkana, Arkansas, at all times during the term, leaseor and leasee shall insure the following, or shall maintain the following insurance. That needs to be, the leaseor needs to be deleted from that sentence.
Josh, I don't want to speak for Tyler. I understood that was taken out when we met
I
last
think
My
it-
Monday.
understanding it was.
Yeah.
I think that well, the
At this
confusion
time.
part is the actual agreement that was presented to the city of Texarkana, Texas, that changes was not put in our packet. We did the wrong one. We did the old one. There's no changes on the one in my packet that I've seen. But when I
Understood.
questioned Tyler about it, those changes have
Yeah,
been
and those were the two specific, 14
and 18.
and 18 subsection B.
Yes.
And those were both of those items that Tyler had indicated
Correct.
that were
They were
updated when we
changed,
brought them to
but
this.
I'm not for sure.
Texas
Do
side.
we know if there is another lease agreement where we provided that after the changes, Josh, or not?
Yes.
Who made the changes? Did you make the changes or did Jeff Lewis?
No, we sent them I sent it to Tyler. Tyler, I can't remember who Tyler sent it to.
David Orr
David Orr, that's
and
correct.
Jeff Lewis, and they made those changes. It was my understanding with Tyler on Thursday that when I talked about that those changes were made, and that lease agreement was sent to Texas with the changes.
Yes, sir.
We don't have that current agreement right now. We still have the old.
Understood.
Yes, well, there is a paragraph that's taken out what we have, because it had a second, there is a paragraph missing here, so there is some deletion made from what we've been presented. But, I mean, so there is some modifications from what our last packet to this packet.
So what do we need to do, table this and get the...
We don't.
Well, we could,
It needs to be passed. We understand, in my opinion, we understand what the changes are, and I know that Tyler's fully aware, and that we need to get a copy of that new agreement showing that we're not double insuring ourselves, and
Yes, sir.
that we have the, listed as a additional insured,
other insured.
other insured.
There's a difference between additional insured and other insured. We're clear about that, right?
But I know those changes have been made. Tyler's aware of it. Josh is aware of what those changes need to be done. I say that we pass it and they can send us an agreement. And if it ends up being nothing like that, then you can rescind it if you want to. But we need to pass this tonight and move on. The Texas side has already passed it with those changes.
Josh, you in agreement?
Yeah, full agreement.
Yes.
I guess, Mayor, I looked at what you stated at the last board meeting, about how we got into this, what wasn't done for us to get get to this point. They bring up another question, that was this process somewhat bidded out? Did you get more than one company, to ask about, or you just went to one, source?
This was put out as an RFQ in both the Arkansas Gazette and the local newspaper. We only received one bid. It was Entergy.
And how much was that one bid again?
It's $2.2 million.
$2.2 million, okay. And I still, Mayor, have an issue as to, we still approving something that someone did not follow the guidelines based on, presented to him with the ordinance. I still have an issue with that, and I still wanna know what type, I know I may get into, per se, executive session by asking this question, but I just noticed that some other people is not working at this city, and if it was, anybody would have done that, would they be still employees of this city? That's, I still have that issue with this, Mayor, and what can be done about this?
That's not within, in my opinion, that's not within our authority, and it's not something to discuss.
Okay, we can discuss, I guess we is going to executive session. I guess I can bring it up then, but my point still, I still have an issue of even voting, or we even voting for this regardless to the point. And I would gonna say,
You have that option to vote against it.
I know, I would say, I even asked our legislator about this incident. I don't mind going on record and say I called him and I asked him about it. I'm not gonna get into the comment that we had, but I even asked our legislator about this incident because we have state laws that if a bid item is a certain amount, it's certain hoops you got to jump. And those hoops wasn't jumped for us to be doing, even discussing this, or even, we even bring this up. And I just have a problem putting tax curve on it, putting a burden on them, something that didn't go through proper channel.
Any other discussion? If not, I would instruct the city attorney to read the resolution.
The Texarkana Regional Airport and the City of Texarkana, Arkansas wish to apply for a loan from the Arkansas Energy Office for solar-covered parking. And whereas the airport was found to be ineligible for the 4% loan to pay for the solar panels, and whereas the Arkansas Energy Office requires the sponsor to own the solar panels, and whereas in order to obtain the loan, the Texarkana Regional Airport is required to lease the solar panels from the City of Texarkana, Arkansas. And whereas Holistic Utilities has determined the project would provide a return on investment of $798,065, and whereas the airport will be billed monthly for the payment of utilities and the Arkansas Energy Office loan to provide operations and maintenance of the solar array. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Directors of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas, that the acting city manager is authorized to enter into the attached lease agreement between the Texarkana Regional Airport and the City of Texarkana, Arkansas. Pass and approve this 19th day of August 2024.
City attorney's read the resolution. What will be the desire of the board?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Let's have a motion and a second. Could you call the roll?
Harris,
No.
Hollibush,
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Jewell,
Yes.
Hart.
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Brown.
Yes. The resolution passes. Moving into Board of Directors' commentary, is there anyone that wishes to speak tonight to the audience or to the other board?
Yes, Mayor,
Yes.
I do. I don't know if the public is aware that the Texarkana MPO stand for Metropolitan Planning Organization. They is on the process of their 50-year plan. And I think right now, if you go to the Texas website, or the MPO website, you'll see that you can make some comments about it. And I have made some comments. I have put in some recommended changes, or some recommended projects, like the projects right there below 67 and 82, the underpass. You know, it floods a lot, and that's part of the state highway. And I put in, I may be wrong about the amount, because you got to give an amount. I put about $2 million to fix that flooding issue there. And then I put that it also floods back, starting back around about 9th Street, when the drainage system is not real good. And I put about 1.5 million for to fix that whole drainage system, to add that in there too. And also, I guess you may say I'm a big person on sidewalks. I put that there's some missing, that could be some sidewalks on 9th Street, which is 82, going from, I think, about from 67 going all the way back to, really for to go back to that dollar store. know, someone was trying to walk from the apartment, walk along the 67 up to the dollar store. And then also on Division Street, which that's also part of the highway. You doesn't have no sidewalk from Artesia Street back to Oak Street, and also at the four-way stop sign back to Division Street. But if anyone else got any things they need to be, ideas they need to be put in the plan, because that's what the MPO, and that's how the state's gonna fund projects based from this plan for the next 20 to 50 years. So, but it basically had to do with the state highway road. So we're not talking about city roads, basically, state highway roads. So, and that's where you can sit in and put in recommended plans, even resurface and, any plan for that. So that's basically why. I had some more things, but since Tyler's not here, he's on vacation. And I think I talked to him about some of these issues, but I wanted him to be here for me to, as I say, get on about some issues. I prefer him to be here, so that's it.
Anyone else?
I'd just like to tell, I know Tracy's not here, but Tyler has been wearing two hats for a while, and I tell you, Roger and Tracy have done an excellent job stepping in and helping, and I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Thank y'all so much.
Thank you, Roger.
Good job.
Thank you, Tracy.
Any other comments? Just point out before we adjourn into executive session, our next meeting will be on Tuesday, September 3rd, due to the Monday's Labor Day holiday. So at this time, we could excuse everyone. The board would go into executive session to consider our search for a new city manager.